We haven't had one of these videos for a while because of the coronavirus pandemic, but this is the week of Budget 2021 in Ireland, so we thought we'd bring you up to date. Ireland's economy has performed really well this year. That is largely thanks to the influence of the multinational sector. So if we look at pharmaceutical and technology companies and add in the public sector, they account for half of the economy by value added. That's up from just over a third before the banking crisis. Their influence on exports is stark. In the first 6 months of this year, exports from Ireland fell only 3%. That compares with declines of 30 to 40% in countries where tourism, for example, is a bigger factor, like France, Italy, Spain, Portugal and Greece. It means that Ireland's GDP figures when they come in the summer of next year will be right at the best end of the scale in Europe. And the other factor which has helped is that Ireland's households and businesses have reduced their debt levels over the last decade. So in difficult circumstances, they've been able to cope a little bit more. Ireland released its Budget 2021 this week. Revenue has held up extraordinarily well because of corporation tax, with the influence of the multinationals, and also income tax, where many workers can continue to work from home from those sectors. And also Ireland has a highly progressive income tax system. On the expenditure side though, it has been a challenge, and the government has done what is necessary to protect the incomes and livelihoods of many citizens. Ireland has arguably introduced its very first counter-cyclical fiscal policy response since independence almost 100 years ago by deliberately increasing the size of the deficit. But that deficit, thanks to the better revenue base, will come in somewhat better than the middle of the range in Europe when the final tot is done early next year, somewhere below 6% of GDP at around 21 billion euro. For next year, the government has penciled in a similar size deficit of about 20 billion. There are risks on the horizon. At the moment, there are ongoing negotiations between the European Union and Britain over a Brexit deal. We are also seeing more stringent restrictions being introduced in Ireland at the present time, and who knows what next year will bring. Just this week too, the OECD outlined its version of the base erosion and profit shifting process, its second iteration of this, where agreement is sought for the middle of next year. The US election in short order may have some influence on proceedings. But this process could have some implications for Ireland's foreign direct investment model as it looks at how corporation tax will be levied in the future. Of course, underpinning the Irish situation, like all euro area countries, are the extraordinarily positive actions of the European Central Bank, which has reduced borrowing rates right across the euro area and gives the governments the necessary fiscal room to provide the kind of response that we've seen in Ireland. So until next time, the presentation is on our website and on Twitter. Slán.